The $1,000,000 question is where you want to be in 5 years. Like what do you want this tree to grow into? Like what kind of fruit do you want to bear from this tree that you've planted,
Sure.
I guess?
Well, it's kind of funny because my 5-year plan involves living on an island in the Caribbean.
There
right?
you go. There you go.
Freelancing on the side. And then I have this very fun dream, I like to think, where I actually would love to start a tiny home resort down in the Caribbean. So I could see myself building that project, living down there, writing in my spare time, teaching local creative writing classes to the kids on the island, that kind of lifestyle where it's just every day is another fun adventure. It's not another day at the office.
Tell me the difference between you in 8th grade, because that's kind of like when some of this stuff started, and Jeanette the Writer now.
I think Jeanette the Writer in 8th grade knew that writing would be a part of her, but never knew how. And I think Jeanette the Writer today has a clear plan of how writing is going to integrate and is integrating with my life. And I think having that plan is all the difference for confidence and being able to go after those dreams. You have to know what the dreams are to go after them fully. And I think that Jeanette the Writer today has that dream and is ready to go. JeanetteTheWriter.com. You can find samples. I highly recommend signing up for my newsletter. It's called the Words Scuba Cats newsletter. And that's literally what you get. You get something about words, something about scuba, something about cats. And it's just straightforward and fun. So if you need a little fun in your inbox, definitely seek that out. That's there.
You actually can sing a little bit.
Yeah, I love doing spoofs of songs and stuff. It was something my grandma did. So I did actually do a spoof of, instead of Santa Baby, it was Fauci Baby.
Yeah. How has COVID been for you? Not in the sense that you somehow got COVID, but just during this pandemic, man. How has that affected you and what you're doing?
It's interesting because I worked from home before the pandemic. So I had a lot of the abilities in place and the mentalities in place to continue working from home. But once you take away the fun parts of going out and just being able to leave, it definitely still added stress. But overall, weathering the COVID times has just been a matter of adjustment. You don't have to throw everything to the wind, just make little adjustments and keep going towards that goal.
So how long have you been writing?
Oh gosh, professionally about 5 going on 6 years, full-time about 3 years. And then, creatively since, 8th grade.
Okay. Yeah. So how did you make the transition from just kind of like part-time to full-time? Like what, other than having an accountability buddy, what were your goals? And like, how did you, was it just fortuitous? Like it was by accident or it was planned? What happened?
It was one of those things where I was in a career I was happy with. I took up writing as a side job to just make a little extra money. And I ended up becoming unhappy in the career I was in and decided, you know what, I think I could do this writing thing full time. And it just seemed like a good opportunity, a fun opportunity to work for myself, to, be back in the writing sphere, which I hadn't done for a while. So it was just a fantastic opportunity. It was definitely a jump. It was definitely a leap, but it was totally worth it.
Okay. And so where are you? Kind of tell me now, like where you are. I see that you have the website, Jeanette the Writer. Kind of tell me like where you are and what you're doing, kind of fill in the space for me.
Sure. So most of what I do is I call it ghost blogging. And so some people call it, also copywriting, like writing for websites and such. It all kind of blends together, but mostly it's in the marketing sphere, content marketing. And I write for a wide variety of industries. So I write for example, a podiatrist.
Okay.
And then I've written blogs for, thought leadership companies like Dale Carnegie.
Okay.
And then I might go off and write for, who knows what. I've written crazy things, adoption, scuba diving, all sorts of topics. But it's really fun because it keeps you on your toes. You're always doing something different. And you get to pick and choose, you get to say, what kind of a project am I looking for, and go seek it out. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, is just at the point where I've got these good, awesome clients I work with, and then I get to seek out these fun projects to fill in all those gaps.
Yeah. Well, how did you go about getting your clients?
A lot of them came from word of mouth first, and then I started getting a little bolder and reaching out directly to them, sending those letters of introduction and sending the pitches to the editors. And there's a little bit of a benefit when you just have some blind confidence in the beginning, because you don't really know that what you're doing is necessarily a stretch. So it was just very easy for me, being rather outgoing, to be like, oh yeah, I'll just write a letter to this company that I really like and would love to do work for. And it takes a while, but if they get back to you, it definitely has led to some awesome projects.
Yeah. So how do you, given the fact that you can select because you're your own boss, right? How do you go about choosing, who you're going to approach? You say, okay, like I want to write about flowers, or I like cats, so let me do that. Or you just kind of say, okay, well, this is where the money is. Tell me about that.
There's definitely a balance. And the course that Molly and I took together was all about finding your niche where you're happiest writing, but there's also the money. And for me, that was medical writing. Which I did for a long time because I was very entrenched in the podiatry sphere. I'd written about, like 3D printing for orthotics and all sorts of interesting topics. And so that was really a sphere where I felt comfortable, and there's a med tech, med health, all sorts of opportunities there. But it wasn't necessarily the most interesting work that I was going to be doing. So I had to find other avenues that were going to be equally, pay the bills, but just more fulfilling overall. So for me, that became scuba diving, because I used to be a scuba instructor full time. Yeah. And so it was just a matter of like, I missed the water, I missed talking about scuba diving, and I just picked the biggest scuba companies and reached out, and sometimes they write back, and it's awesome. So scuba diving, same thing with Dale Carnegie. I took a Dale Carnegie class one year and just fell in love with the programs and the company. And I just reached out to one of their thought leaders and said, hey, do you ever need help writing these awesome blogs? And they said, yeah, actually we do.